I have the time as 7:36, so I will call the public hearing and regular business meeting of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville, Georgia, for Monday, July 26, 2021 to order. We'll start with our invocation to be given by Dr. Quincy Brown, the new senior pastor at Snellville United Methodist Church.
Good evening. Will you pray with me? O God of the rain and now God of the storm, we give you thanks for all things, for this day in which we've never seen and one in which we will never see again. We give you thanks. For responsible governance, O God, we give you thanks. For citizens who are concerned about this community and beyond, we give you thanks. Now, O God, as we have this meeting, as we have open forum and deliberation, I ask that you would guide our thoughts, but forgive our faults for us. In Jesus' name that we ask it all. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Brown. Now we'll do the pledge to the flag, led by Gretchen Schultz. Thank you. And now we have no ceremonial matters. We'll do the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of the July 12th, 2021 special called meeting and regular meetings.
There's a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. We have no invited guests or committee or department reports. And now we'll have the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve tonight's agenda with one addition under new business. Going to add item F. Consideration to authorize the mayor to execute the billboard development agreement with Clear Channel.
There's a motion to approve the agenda with one addition. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. We do have one item under our public hearing. We have item A, an opportunity for citizens to submit either written or oral comments on the proposed 2021 millage rate. Our millage rate is proposed at 4.588 mils, which is the same millage rate that we've had for the past 7 years. Is that right? Anything else, Butch, that you want to say on the millage rate?
Just that we've really been fortunate with a lot of economic activity in our community. A lot of people have chosen in both the retail and the residential sectors to develop in our town. And that helps us to, if we have that kind of growth, it helps us to maintain our millage rate. And I feel like our service level has progressed to what people are really expecting. We want to provide the best services we can, and that's why we're recommending the level millage.
Thank you, Butch. So now this is a public hearing, so I will open the floor to public comment. If anyone would like to come and address the council with your comments, please step forward and give your name and address for the record. Don't everybody jump at once. Okay, seeing no members of the public who would like to make comments, then I will close the public hearing. And we'll move on with the agenda. We have nothing under our consent agenda or old business. We have several items of new business. We have item A, consideration and action on resolution 2021-08, adoption of the 2021 millage rate. Is there a motion?
Motion to adopt Resolution 2021-08, the 2021 millage rate.
There's a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
That was a tie. All right, we'll give it to Solange. There was a motion and a second to adopt the resolution 2021-08, adopting a millage rate of 4.588 mils. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. So our millage rate is adopted. We have item B, second reading, ordinance 2021-18, consideration and action on adoption of the speed zone ordinance pursuant to Georgia Code Title 40, Section 40-6370 through Section 40-6376, and Sections 40-6181 through 183 of that title, the Uniform Rules of the Road. This is a housekeeping matter. This city must adopt a street list via ordinance every 3 years so that we maintain our state permit to operate speed detection devices. So that's what we're doing here. We had our first reading at our previous meeting. This is our second reading and final vote. So is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2021-18 as read by the mayor.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. We have item C, consideration and action on authorization for the city attorney to file a nuisance abatement action against property located at 3190 Grand Central Drive. This is a property where the house is overgrown with bushes and weeds, and it's been a continuous problem that we haven't been able to work through with our normal code enforcement steps. So in those cases, the city attorney does come to us to ask for an abatement of a nuisance, and so that's what we're taking under consideration here tonight. Is there a motion?
Motion to authorize the city attorney to file a nuisance abatement action against the property located at 3190 Grand Central Drive.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have consideration and action on route design Grove proposal for the Grove Phase 1. Butch, did you want to make a comment on that?
I guess when people think of the Grove at Town Center, you think about the major buildings, the multifamily, the parking deck, the library, the new market that's coming. But everything to activate all those great buildings and great events that are going to take place there, you need space around it. And we've worked with Michael Kidd from Route Design on his landscape architecture work in designing the sidewalks, the Grove itself, the green, the tree save area, the stage area. These are all amenities, whether it's the splash pad and the wall around it where the art goes, where people will sit. And basically this is Michael's proposal for finishing the design of the Grove area and all of those improvements. And at least the first one is. The second one deals specifically with the pavilion or the stage. So the staff heartily recommends Michael and these proposals.
Thank you, Butch. So now we're working on the Grove proposal for Grove's Phase 1. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the proposal from Route Design for the Grove Phase 1.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. And now we have the second item, consideration and action on route design grove proposal for the pavilion. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the
Motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. I guess before we voted on that, I should have let y'all know what we were doing here. We had come to an agreement with Clear Channel, who owns 5 of the 6 billboards in the city, roughly, something like that. They had wanted to come and convert some of their billboards to the electronic billboards. And we came to an agreement with them that if they reduce the number of billboards, we would allow them to convert some. So, and we had an exchange, you know, which ones are which ones. So we are going to see 2 billboards come down. And in exchange for that, 3 sides, is it 2 billboards will be converted to electronic signs. So the opportunity came and we thought maybe we could get rid of a few of the billboards that are here in the city. So, and the electronic billboard signs that are out there, most of them look really nice, and we've got it where it'll be controlled for brightness and everything else, so. And we get some free public service announcements on the billboards as well. So that'll work out for the city as well. So that's what that item F was. And that concludes all of our business here at this meeting. So we'll move on to council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember DeStang.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I want to foremost take the time to thank our Snellville Tourism and Trade, or well-known for STAT, for putting on such a wonderful Motown event this past Saturday. The turnout was excellent. It was actually phenomenal. The citizens wanted more, and I'm sure that STAT will deliver this next year. Thank you, STAT, but STAT isn't here. I hope she hears me. She's not feeling so well. Also, there will be a 3rd annual back-to-school block party on Saturday, July 31st, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This back-to-school event will be held at Lake Sharrow, which is located at 4540 Lee Road in Snellville. Supply distribution will begin at 12 p.m. and last until 2 p.m. or until supplies run out. This is my short council report tonight. Usually it's a little bit longer. On this note, I want to wish you all a wonderful remainder of the evening. Get home safe, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a marvelous evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Solange. Councilmember Warner?
Well, for all of y'all that showed up tonight and are disappointed that you had one of the shortest meetings in record of City of Snellville, just know that we had a work session that started at 4 o'clock this afternoon and went until you saw us walk through those doors. So we put in a few hours of work today, and hopefully we move some very important things along. Much of that was devoted to the town center, and we should have some some more. Wanted to let everybody know that our August 9th meeting is not going to happen because we will be in Savannah for the annual Georgia Municipal Association Convention. I hear that as of this afternoon, we're all going to have to wear masks down there, but we missed it last year. It's a great chance to network and to get further education, to learn more about how to be efficient and effective as leaders of your city. So we're all looking forward to that. And I want to thank you all for showing up tonight. Since we will not be meeting but one time in August, I want to make sure that I bring up my charity that we support every second meeting here at City Council. And I will be making, as Dave finishes his long and windy council report, I will be making my monthly donation to Let 'em Eat, which provides food to people throughout Gwinnett County that have food insecurity. For whatever reason, doesn't matter, they need help in order to eat. And it is always a great thing when we can help a charity that is based here in our own city that does such fabulous work. So I would suggest, if you have a few quarters left over at the end of the month, if you would help support Let 'em Eat, and I'll be doing so as Dave prattles on. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Well, if that isn't a pot calling the kettle black.
Thank you, Todd. Councilmember Linsky.
Good evening, everyone. The qualifying period to become a candidate for City Council posts 3, 4, and 5 will be on August 16th, 17th, and August 18th here at City Hall from 8:30 a.m. through 4:30 p.m. I'd also like to tonight take this opportunity to announce that I will be seeking re-election to my post this November. When I was first actually elected to post 3 back in 2015, I knew that I would absolutely have some incredibly big shoes to fill. Post 3 was once actually occupied by Tom Witz, as well as Melvin Everson. As a council, we have worked so hard together and we have accomplished so many good things since 2015. By God, we even moved a U.S. Post Office. You can believe that. However, we still have a lot of work to accomplish, and we do need to stay the course. So I have really 3 major priorities that I wanted to share with you tonight for my election campaign. And priority number 1, where I started back in 2015, Snellville Youth Commission. I founded SYC back in 2016 after just a few months of being in office, and we were going along so well. In February of 2020, the organization was dynamic and strong and active. We had just finished a great event over at South Gwinnett High School, working with Emory University in a poverty simulation. And then, of course, COVID hit. And since then, we've had to carefully navigate our way through the pandemic. Zoom meetings, trying to piece together membership. It's been incredibly hard to recruit, to get into the schools, and build partnerships in the way that we have in the past. So one of my major priorities is to provide the leadership and the dedication to rebuild our membership in SYC and to really reestablish our strong civic engagement activities that we had in place about 1.5 years ago. SYC will go on. Priority number 2, sidewalks. We actually spent quite a bit of time today in our work session discussing our sidewalk plan. So for the last 7 months, along with council members Warner and Schultz, I've worked very hard to develop a new sidewalk initiative for our neighborhoods. And I would really like to see this master plan implemented as we move forward in the next few months, and this will only strengthen our neighborhood connections. Priority number 3, save the best for last, town center. Yes, we've broken ground, post office moved, all of that, but I really want to be here with you to see this project through. I want to be here when we open up. I want to be here when we cut the ribbon to open up the library, the mercantile, the commons, all of those things. I'd like to be up here serving you. Those are my major priorities as we move forward, and it has been such an incredible honor to represent you during these past 6 years. And now I'm asking for your support as we move forward in re-election, and I would really like to continue this honor and sharing my vision of unity, service, and common sense, bringing this to the city of Snellville. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy, and we'll have Councilmember Schultz.
I wanted to share some interesting information with you tonight. I know I talk about the Snellville Farmers Market a lot, but I have some interesting figures that I wanted to share with you. And I was kind of challenged to do this by Mayor Bender. We were talking at the Farmers Market Saturday, and she said to me, why don't you try to get some idea of the gross sales that occur at one farmer's market? It'd be interesting to know what kind of economic impact our farmers market has on Snellville. So I sent an email out Sunday to our vendors, and I just asked them if they would mind sharing with me what their average gross sales for a market are. I told them I wouldn't share their individual sales with people, but I was just trying to gauge the economic impact of the market. So far, I've heard from about 30% of the vendors. So, and in that 30%, those vendors, their gross sales are about $13,000 at one market. So if you kind of expand that out, that amounts to somewhere in the range of $35,000 to $40,000 at one farmer's market. If you expand that out to our 18-week summer season, we're talking in the range of $600,000 to $700,000 in sales that occur in our summer season at the market. And I think this is really interesting information because, as you know, these vendors purchase supplies in Snellville. People come to the market and maybe they go out to eat lunch after the market. Maybe they stop in other stores. So I think it's just really interesting to see the kind of economic impact that it has. And I just wanted to read to you. This was an email that I received today from one of our vendors. I'm not going to name him or his business, but he has a farm here in Snellville and a farm down in South Georgia. So he takes part in other markets. But this is what he said to me: that his gross sales for the last market were approximately $2,400. And he said the weekly sale, he also participates in farmers markets in Brunswick, Savannah, and Macon. He said the weekly sales at the Snellville Farmers Market are averaging 12 to 18% higher than the weekly urban markets in Brunswick, Savannah, and Macon, and substantially higher than the weekly market, and I'm not going to name this because it's another local market. Sales at the Atlanta State Farmers Market in Jonesboro have been so poor this season, we've pulled out. We get invited to the various markets in and around downtown Atlanta, but have hesitated for various reasons. The point is, the Snellville Farmers Market is that important to us, and we turn that investment back around and purchase supplies from local businesses in and around Snellville. We greatly appreciate the venue provided by the City of Snellville and all the volunteers that make it work. It is excellent and the best venue that we have. None of the markets in Brunswick, Savannah, and Macon come close to Snellville. And while I'm at it, we have a few of our volunteers in the audience, and I think this is important because our market is largely run by volunteers. And those in the audience tonight are Dale and Sandy Stanley, Kathy Emanuel, and my husband Kurt. And I applaud them for all the time that they give to help to make our market what it is. So I just thought that was interesting, and I knew Barbara, being the numbers person, would appreciate. And as I get more information, because this is only about 1/3 of the vendors, I'll share that.
That's awesome, Gretchen. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Emanuel.
Well, Gretchen, since you said you applaud them, let's give them an applause.
That's right.
Along with Christie's announcement, I've been on the council since 2011. There have been some high times and some low times, and I think you can tell by the banter among us that we all get along really well. And the reason we get along really well is that every council member here is dedicated to doing what's best for Snellville. And that didn't always used to be the case, as many of you know. And as we've seen, elections have consequences, and I would encourage everybody to vote for the 3 existing council members who are up for re-election. We need to keep the city moving positively in the right direction, and these people can do it. They've shown their dedication. I think Christie's discussion about the sidewalks is an example of that, along with 2 other council members. So everybody's doing a lot of good work, and I would sincerely hope that that continues.
Thank you, Dave. So that ends our council reports, and under the mayor's report, I would just ask everyone to continue to keep Marcy Ferris. She is one of our longtime volunteers. I announced at the last meeting that she was in hospice, and she did pass away. We had her funeral service about a week ago, I think. If you'd continue to keep her sister Nancy in your prayers, I know that she would appreciate that. Marcy she's been coming to meetings since I was first elected in 2005, and I know she was coming to meetings way, way, way before that. But she is certainly one that we all miss, and we'll continue to miss seeing sitting here in the council meeting chambers. But again, just keep Nancy in your prayers if you would. Other than that, I've had some great meetings and conversations with some of the some pastors here in the community, some new pastors that have come in. Dr. Brown, that gave the invocation, is new at the Snellville United Methodist Church. I've talked to Dr. Greer. He's been, or Pastor Greer, he's been the pastor down at Zor for about 2 years, I think. And he came a couple weeks ago. But our churches provide such a vibrant community for us here in Snellville. We've got all kinds of denominations and a lot of people that are very engaged in the community through their churches, and we really appreciate their support of the city and what we do here, and we in turn like to give that back as well with support for the churches, because they do provide so much to the fabric of our community. And that will end my mayor's report, so I will open the floor to public comment. Anyone who would like to say anything, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Gay Bruce, 1710 Woodbury Run Drive. I've got a video. Is there a way to show it? Over here.
Ms. Bruce, we can't do that here at the meeting.
That's fine.
If you can let us know what's on it.
That's fine.
and-
I can tell you what, it would help with what's going on, and I can show it to y'all afterwards. I'm here for a couple of reasons, actually for sidewalks, actually is what it is. They're in Woodbury, for over 6 months, there's been Comcast cable that's not been buried. And several homeowners have called Comcast, board members have called Comcast, and what I understand is Comcast employees have come out and looked at it and have all agreed that it's a trip hazard, but it's still not been buried. And apparently it's going to involve digging up about 4 driveways to bury it correctly. And so I know that City of Snellville has a license for Comcast, and I was trying to find out who in the city could help us get this cable buried because it's a trip hazard. I'm a walker, and my shoelaces got caught in it one day and I almost fell flat on my face.
Is it like some of the houses?
Yes, apparently when Woodbury was built, they think that where the cable was supposed to connect at one of the houses got buried when they poured a driveway. So it actually goes about 4 or 5 houses distance, and the cable is just, they've run the cable so that those homeowners could get a good cable connection. But it's just, it crosses, where it connects into the cable box, it crosses the sidewalk, it crosses the grass in the right-of-way area, it goes down the street, then comes back up and crosses the sidewalk again where it connects to the box again.
Okay, if, right after the meeting, if you could come up and give me the addresses that we're talking about, or one of the addresses,
Okay.
then we'll see what we can do.
Okay, another one is at Mount Zion Road at Walmart, and Councilman Warner has helped me with this in the past. Unfortunately, the original problem did not get fixed. It's an erosion problem on Walmart's property at Mount Zion Road that's causing a lot of silt on the sidewalk. The silt is over an inch thick, and pedestrians are having to walk in the street to avoid it. And of course, when it's muddy, it's a mud bath there. And the whole problem is that since Walmart was built, the trees that were planted along the Mount Zion side of Walmart between their driveway at Mount Zion and North Road is an erosion issue. And the tree canopy has enlarged, so the grass has died. So there's a slope there, and it's washing down, and it's on the sidewalk. I had mentioned something to Councilman Warner a few months ago, and he was helpful in getting it cleaned up, but it's back again, and because the problem has not been fixed. So that's another one. The other one is at Park Place Lane. Well, at Park Place on Forest Road. That was, the sign at Park Place says that was established in 2015. There's one section of sidewalk that was never poured there. And so when you're walking, all of a sudden you've got a grassy strip or a muddy strip if it's been raining, and I don't know why that section never got poured.
Okay, and where was that again?
It's on Forest Road. I think it's Tree Lane. There's not a street sign there. That was my other issue. There's no street sign there at Hampton Inn where that new street cuts out.
Oh, okay.
It's at Park Place, yeah.
It's the undeveloped lot.
Okay.
But there's just 1 or 2 sections of sidewalk there that never got poured. And if y'all can help us get those items fixed, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else? Yeah. Well, I had a note down here that you had asked to speak, so.
Yes. I don't know if I can take 5 minutes and Mr. Wiggs maybe take 5 minutes if he needs it, if I don't get everything covered. But we're here with the Snellville Coalition, the Pavilion Coalition, which represents all the houses that touch the property behind the Snellville Pavilion. So, first of all, I just wanted to compliment Kelly for the events we've had lately and getting Snellville back up. It's been nice for everybody to get back out in the public and enjoy each other. I appreciate Kurt and Gretchen continuing with the farmers market through COVID, despite COVID. And it was very nice to be able to drive up and get your vegetables and everything. So also I want to put out a thank you to the Public Works. I called this week and asked for a tree limb to be picked up. The next morning it was gone. They're very good at servicing our right-of-ways in our neighborhood. I had a sewer hole that was, whatever you call it, it was eroding underneath the road. And I wrote them a note one night and told them that we had a problem, but it wasn't me. But there was a problem on Harbor Oaks Drive, and we had some erosion underneath the street. And so they were out there within a couple days to get it fixed. They had it marked off the next day, which was great. But sidewalks, appreciate Ms. Linsky bringing up sidewalks. I don't know how Hickory Hills has not had a fatality in there with the traffic that runs through there. And so I think it's going to be greatly needed and greatly appreciated. The thing is that we can't see the sidewalks if we don't have street lights. I've got a list of 90 street lights on 124, 78, and some of the main roads that are out. They've been out 3 years. I've submitted a list for 3 years. Some of the same lights are out. You come out of my subdivision, there's 3 to the left and 4 to the right. My exit onto it's really an entrance onto 124 is dark. But I've got a list of them, and I've still got neighborhoods bringing forth their lights that are out. So there's over 90 right now. I've called, I've sent Butch a copy, I've sent Walton and Electric, and nothing's getting done. So the other thing was, I don't know who created the path through the cemetery, but I was out there at 4th of July. We had fireworks in the cemetery. We had people climbing on headstones. We had a little girl, maybe 9 to 10 years old, climbing up the Christ statue, which is like $250,000 statue. I started to stand up, and then her mother went and got her. But somebody needs to patrol that area during these events. I mean, you had maybe 500 people walking through the cemetery, but they weren't walking the path. They were on ledgers, headstones, everything else. Last thing is the pavilion. We still got problems. Mr. Wiggs is a partner of the Pavilion Coalition on the Texas Road side, house side. Last Monday, he was woke up at 4:30 and messaged the coalition that he had called the police. I had been up since 4 o'clock with the dumpster. The truck snuck in there to dump, and it's continuing. What do we do? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been up here and said, we got to do something. You want to build a town center, but you're going to put it on top of people when you can't even control what you've done in the past, put on top of people. It has gotten better. I can't stand up here and say it hasn't gotten better. It has. It's gotten a lot better. I don't want our patrol officers in that parking lot all night long. I think we need a security guard in there. We had a domestic behind the Coles Inn, and if the lady in Stockton walked who can put her hand right over the fence in Stockton Walk. If she had not called the police, we might have had a dead body back there. Nobody was sweeping behind there. I don't know how long the lady been back there arguing, but they were sleeping back there behind Coles in a car. Okay, that tells you there's nobody sweeping back there. Okay, if we can some way get a security guard, that place is becoming a nuisance. You look behind, the paint is off on the building. They have reconnected some of the tin that was flapping during the rainstorms. But I've got a hole in the retention pond. It's been out there 2 years. I sent Butch an email, said there was a hole in the fence out there. It has not been fixed in 2 years. You've got turtles this big that come out of there. I'm telling you, in my backyard, I've had snapping turtles. Kids play back in there in the woods. Okay, but the place is becoming a nuisance to the neighbors. Thank God for former Councilman Schultz, for having the PM to 7 a.m. Restriction on the ordinance. That has saved us, really saved us. And I hope you consider that when you go into the town center, that you are looking out for the residents, because we're paying hell out here at night, 4 o'clock in the morning. And this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, this town center, there's 60 cement trucks all night long. And I hear all that. Do, 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 do. And then they're running up and down 124, these trucks. We have an ordinance. They shouldn't be out there. The city is not exempt from being on that hour. I think it was at 6:30. Nobody can work in landscaping or mechanical before 6:30, 7 o'clock. I don't know. But this morning at 3 o'clock, I was woke up with the noise and the trucks going back and forth on 124. So I've been up since 3 o'clock. And, we got problems. I don't want to always get up here and have drama and bring out the bad things. But we need to start solving some of them so we can knock them down. The street lights, 3 years, okay? The pavilion, Mr. Wiggs has complained for 20 years. I've called for 20 years. He's had Butch sitting in his driveway, okay? He's had the chief on the phone. But nobody bothered to tell Tricia Rollins. They wanted to say, I'm the only one out here complaining. But Mr. Wiggs can tell you he's been complaining forever. And now we've got all the neighbors along that fence line. And so we need to come up with a solution so I don't have to be back up here. Thank you.
Thank you, Tricia.
Just one little quickie here. Kurt Schultz, 2027 Tanglewood Drive. Just to expand on what Gretchen said about the farmers market, we're in a national contest, which most of you know, and we're doing very well. It's a national contest. We're in 3rd place, and we're well ahead in 3rd place, but we want to keep the votes coming in. If you all haven't voted, you can, take your phone and hook on this after the meeting, and Gretchen's probably got one also, or if you just want to do it on your own, https://markets.farmland.org, and we'd really like to at least hold 3rd place. We're up against some big, huge markets out west in the Midwest that we're going up against. So please vote for us. This is your market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kurt.
Hello, everybody. My name is Catherine Hardrick, 2280 Buckley Trail. I voted for the farmers market. Right. Oh, I can vote more than once. I need to go back. Can you hear me? Okay. I walk. Thank you for the sidewalks because that's very important. In my area, I live down the street where they're building the 6 new houses on Skyland and Rockdale Circle. And I have a video when it rains now. They cut down all the trees and they're building a house. It's just a straight flood now. And so it's just a pond and it's coming towards, because it's a hill. So it's slanted down and all that water is coming towards my neighbors and our houses, just coming this way. So I don't know what we can do. I feel like when the builder leaves, that's still going to be a problem for us because now that all the trees are gone and that pavement is just slanted. So it's a house that is cascaded down like this. So all that rainwater comes down and it's just a pond in your backyard now.
And let me make sure we've got your address, 2280 Buckley
Buckley Trail.
Trail.
Mhm.
Okay, and these are houses behind you?
Correct. So,
Okay.
So my house faces this way, so they're in front.
Okay,
So my neighbor's across the street and the water's coming this way.
okay.
You talking about the ones on the corner of Skyland and Rockdale?
Correct.
Where they're just building them out.
They're building there 6 new houses. that
Okay,
they're
then we'll
building.
get somebody out there to
Yeah.
take a look at that.
And then, so I'm a walker.
We've had a lot of rain here too lately, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I have video to show you what it looks like if you want to see it. And so I'm a walker, so the sidewalks, that entire area. And so I walk from my home all the way to Sugarloaf Parkway. So when I get to El Dorado, that's when I get sidewalk. And then I'm safe. But to get to El Dorado from my home, I'm not safe. And now with this rainwater and the flooding, and then I have a question. So you know in the houses that are along Rockdale Circle, you have the little sewers? Well, the builders are putting the boulders in front of the drainage openings. So now water is piling up. Again, it's pretty, it's nice, they have the pine straw, they have the nice rocks, the landscaping, but what sense is that when you leave, you have a puddle of water, and that's only gonna cause us damage down the road. So I mentioned that before. I sent an email to the city, and they didn't do anything, so I wanted to mention that today. And then now it's a pothole on that street. I didn't have a pothole before. I've been there since 2000. Now I have a pothole, and I think because of all the trucks. So I just want to make mention of that. And that's it. Oh, when I walk at that Rockdale Circle, so when you pass the 3-way stop sign, it's a second Rockdale Circle. Okay? That's a dangerous crosswalk. People don't stop. It's no pedestrian crosswalk right there. So we can do something for that, a signal to let people know. They can't just come and speed and go around. Okay? Thank you.
And I would encourage you, we were talking tonight in our extended work session on the sidewalks, and we'll be doing some public hearing
Yes.
meetings, community input meetings. But be watching, the council members that have been working on this are probably going to put together a video that we'll put out on Facebook and the website, so you can look at the maps and everything, and then we'll
Okay.
take input on those.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right.
And just to clarify, the sidewalks there on that part of Rockdale Circle and on Skyland are in our proposed Phase 1 because we realize how
Yeah.
important that is.
It is. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's real important in our community. We really, because my street is a horseshoe, and so the only thing we do is go to the corner and come back around. We don't venture out. So therefore, community, which is what we want, we're losing it or lost it, so we want it back. Correct.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
comments.
My name is Barry Wiggs. I live at 2210 Stockton Walk Lane. I have lived there since November of 1999. And my wife has lived in the city since 1974. Love Snellville, great things and all that happen here. The problem that I'm having and have had ever since Texas Roadhouse and the Pavilion was was built is the noise. Butch has been to my house. He's heard it. His suggestion to me was, you just have sensitive ears. Okay. That did not sit very well with me. I've had to deal with dumpsters anywhere from midnight till 6 in the morning. And it's not just the dumpster going kaboom, it's pulling it over the asphalt and continually doing the dumping thing. I would be more than happy to take every one of your personal cell phone numbers so that when it happens again, I can call you and just say, listen to what I listened to. I have no problem doing that. I've talked to the owner, the previous owner of Texas Roadhouse, and basically they told me, we're a commercial business, we can do whatever we want to, and you need to shut up and sit down. That didn't sit well with me. I have talked to the police chief, and his response was, I have no jurisdiction with the way the ordinance is written as it stands. That was 7 years ago. Y'all have rewritten that ordinance now so that it covers that in the Snellville Pavilion. I've had to deal with pressure washers at 2 in the morning, street sweepers going in the parking lot at 4 in the mornings. I've had, in the last month, I've been woken up at least 3 times with people yelling that I'm hearing just over the fence. That's not counting the other neighbors that have heard the same things. The reason you don't have a lot of complaints in front of you, other than Tricia and me, most of my neighbors are seniors. Most of them do wear hearing aids to assist in their hearing. When they go to bed, they typically take those out. And I've talked to my neighbors about that. I've even had a official of one of the city's committees that lived next door to me, and his comment to me was, oh, I don't hear nothing, but then I don't hear anything when I go to bed anyway. So it's like me. It's like I'm out here in this desert, and it's just me. And Butch finally got Texas Roadhouse to get the pressure washer to move around to the front of the building. Okay, that's great. The other night at 4:30 in the morning, I hear the dumpsters. At 9:45 that night, I hear a backup beeper over there, and I'm thinking, okay, so what's going on this time? So I take, and it's literally right around the corner. So I pull around. Come to find out, it was a customer's truck that had a backup beeper, state DOT truck backing up, trying to get in the parking spot. So I'm sitting there, and as I'm standing here, here comes a Cisco truck pulling up. He circles the building, they pull up, and they start unloading. I did not have my cell phone. I called the city police. That was 9:15-ish. At 9:50, I was still hearing boxes being thrown off the truck, and I'm still hearing the diesel engine running. So
What night was that? Do you have the date?
Monday.
Last Monday night?
Yes. So it's not a matter of you guys doing your jobs. You did your jobs. You got a ordinance in place that has some bite to it that we can enforce. The problem is it getting enforced? And if so, can anyone find me the information of how many police calls have been made about noise from Snellville Pavilion, and how many fines have been imposed?
There, we can give you that information.
So that would be great. That would be great.
We've had a lot of court cases with the Snellville Pavilion property managers, and they are taking notice. I was hoping to hear you say that things have decreased in the last year. We've been really pounding hard on them and all of their truck drivers. Now, unfortunately, some still slip through, and
It did get better for 6 months, just like every time I would go to the previous administrations. And when I started voicing my opinion, the noise quietened down. 6 months later, it goes right back. So it's
well,
it's
that's when,
just the
yeah,
cycle.
we need
It's
to
the
know when
cycle.
it's starting to come back up
yes,
again,
it's
so that,
cycle.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
6:07 every morning, the trash people are at
See, and they know better than that.
and I'm telling you, 6:07 every morning, they are either at Texas Roadhouse, Horsetown, or one of the other corner restaurants right there at 124. Because I hear it. When you ride down Dogwood, look behind Horsetown, you see the red fence, that's me. So just so everybody has a reference, when you go to Cookout, take a left, just ride down to Stockton Walk, turn around, and you see the red fence, that's me. That's me.
Well,
But
we can, if you know the dates of when you've heard the trash behind Texas Roadhouse, if you can get those to me, because we can check with the trash hauler. They've got GPS on the trucks, and they can tell us if it's their trucks back there. And those drivers know not to
Yeah,
be
and
there.
I've been doing that for 20 years.
Okay. Well, I understand
So
that,
can
and
do
I
can do
can't
that.
fix
I can-
that.
And I can, that's right.
I can't fix
can
that
on-
back
we can
20
only-
years,
We can only
but-
work together to try to go forward.
Right.
Fix the problem.
But we know now that those truck drivers, they've got GPS, so if we can locate it, we can find out if it's our trash haulers that are doing it, because they know better than to be there before 7.
Well, it was. Yeah, there's calls on record.
Okay.
For where I've called. I mean, you can pull up, I'll be glad to give you my phone number in private. And you can pull your police records to see what.
Well, we can get it if
come
there's
from me.
calls on
You know,
there.
That's not
Okay.
a problem.
Okay, very good.
And-
Thank you for letting us know.
And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing no one scrambling for the microphone, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor? That's 6-0, we're out. Thank you all for coming out tonight.